So we're watching Pocket Theory Diaries and Patreon. I absolutely love the anime. I didn't know I was going to like it this much, to be honest. I'm just really happy the community voted on like every Thursday. I'm like, yes, here we go. So this is about to sound like a sponsored video. It's not. I'm going to tell you why I like it. Our protagonist, she's so badass, man. She's so smart and witty. And like there's so much comedy in this anime, which is a nice mix because I have a good variety going on with what we're watching. But like some of the stuff is so serious. It's just nice to have this because it's like cheeky, but like I don't want to give too, like the setting. I'm not going to say too much. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. But our main character, she's a lot of fun. Her voice actress is killer. So like, it's just real smooth how things fly by. And every episode is like this really fun mystery mixed with science and within like the kind of cheeky setting that it's in that it's a good watch. It's very entertaining. Aesthetically, it is beautiful, man. Like I'm only like 2 years into the anime journey. The way the colors are used in this, it just feels new to me. And I didn't know I was going to dig it this much. Soundtrack is very good. Obviously, we're here to talk about music. The entire soundtrack is always very beneficial to listen to. It's enjoyable. Like I feel like I have benefited at the end of every episode. But the opening, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the opening. We're 8 episodes in. I generally wait till I finish an anime to do the full version, but whatever. I'm going to break my own rule because I'm so curious. I love the opening. I've heard the anime version of it 8 times. I want to hear the full version. So that's what we're about to do. I'm very excited. Let's go. All right, I'm going to try to say this name. I apologize. Roku Koko Sakai. Sorry, Roku Shoko Sakai. Sort of. Probably not even close. Anyway, the song is Be a Flower. Let's get into it. Oh, the bass is so good. Yeah, man. I love that line. Such good writing. We'll go back in a sec. Beautiful. We're going to stop with the chorus, just so you know. Oh God, the bass is so good right there. All right, we got to go back and talk about why this is so good. It's a lot more fun right now for me because we're not looking at the opening. Your ears can hear a lot more when you're like actively listening to the layers because visually you get distracted. You know, it's like when you're driving, your radio's super loud. You got to turn stuff down and be like, wait, what's going on? The other way is true too. If you don't have a lot of stuff to look at, you can hear more things. Okay, the beginning. Let's talk about, it's like 5 seconds long. Listen how great this intro is. You get the groove established immediately. You know exactly where tempo is. You know what the feel is. You get a cool sound effect. And it kind of augments and crescendos. It gets louder. And that's used a little bit on a call and response within the vocal line with the melody. And then you get a tonal, meaning like we kind of set where the key is going to be. Bum, bum, bum. This ensemble hit. That's all in the first 5 seconds. That is, to me, a genius design of flow with how to like grab your audience and pull you into it. We'll let it go again. Check it out. We'll get into the verse and we'll talk about the bass player and why they're so kick-ass in the verse here in a second. Sounds so good, man. This is a nice little intro chunk. Great piano supplement. All right. Like the way that's being picked and how it's kind of fuzzy. I feel like the other elements in the verse, like it's a really well written verse, but there are properties that we have in a lot of songs. And now it does get augmented in a second, but for this first like chunk, the first 4 bars, the drums sound like what you would expect within this progression. The progression feels like a pop related progression. The vocalist sounds good. You would expect the vocalist. We have high expectations for recording artists. At least I do. And you should too. But we're getting that. But what separates it from me is just the foundation of the fuzzy tone on the bass, the pick that's being used, and just the way the line is flowing with a little bit of rhythmic, like there's just a little bit of groove there. Not a little bit, quite actually a lot of bit of groove, but that's like the difference maker for me. That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean that that's true or not. just everything else feels like the rhythm section is playing. Rhythm section means drums, bass, guitar, keys, and any instruments that are doing those kind of roles. Like it feels like what you would expect to walk into a session and play, but the bassist is like just give me that like different feel that's going to make the vocalist stand out when it's on top of that. Now let's go back and check it out again. You can agree or disagree with that. It's just kind of like how it hits you, you know? And then we come in. I didn't even hear that triangle used before. It's just like so faint. I would never hear that in the opening just because we're looking at too many things. But the callback is really cool. Bump, ba-da, and you get that little like similar sound effect the way in the beginning. Little things like that. Like, you know how we listen to stuff like it. Let's compare and contrast. Think about the Oshinoko opening, the one for season 2. Think about how many like sounds are happening all the time. You can tell those producers are like, fuck, we got to throw this in, throw that in, throw this in, throw that in. Like, just like hit the audience with so much stuff. This has the complete opposite of that. There's space. The melody is delivered to us. We get a response. We get another call. We get another response. There's a cool line going on. There's little supplements with the piano that support that line. In my opinion, this is much more musical when you get something like this, just because the flow and design hits in a different way. Is it better? No, it's art, right? There is no such thing as better or worse. We could go circles on that about some things. Everyone has a personal taste, right? And like, you can't really tell. Let's not go there. We'll tangent Tony on that. We don't want to tangent Tony on that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the design of the lower end foundation really supports what's going on. Let's go grab some stuff. We'll keep going. Man, the piano. Now we start to change. Becomes much more traditional with our cultural instrument use here. Changes the flow of the groove, which is an outstanding like hiccup. It's a little speed bump to be like, hey, pay attention. Like there's this other part coming here. But what the connection, the smoothness, the way the piano was kind of cascading over all that was really supportive of how beautiful that melody line is in the vocals. But when we get that change within the groove, that's everything. To me, at least to me, that is everything. Let's go back far enough where we get the change again. I didn't even catch the open clean tone, arpeggios, big chord tones happening in the guitar player. That was really cool. That gives it a completely different kind of taste to it. Nice fill. Now that's where the bass is really, the tone is different there. We don't have that fuzzy feel anymore, and you can really lock into how they move down as the line descends there to bring us into this kind of, it's not a stop time. We just have some hits. Boom. Stop time is more we're going to have a downbeat, something's more like musical theater, something's happening on stage. We cue in with the conductor, time is stopped, and we come back in. The tempo is we're still moving here. So I guess stop time wouldn't really be the correct vocab use, but we just get this chunk that's coming up. I'm going to go back 11 seconds. Hopefully that's enough to hear this. Listen for the bassist now. Come on, man. One more time. We're talking about one more thing. We'll go on the chorus, I promise. Daga, daga, cha, daga, ga, ga. What a big, powerful way to establish that groove to completely hit into the chorus that we're about to drop into, where the bassist has so many like octave bass lines that are coming up. Like, you have to appreciate everything that's going on in a very purposeful way to make this so cool. We're going back about 10 seconds. We'll let it go in this time. Appreciate the low end groove, appreciate the little syncopations, and then check out the bassist once we hit on the drop. Here we go. God, dude. Oh, the flow. 10 out of 10. And that's where I'm used to it ending. You know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, I have chills right now. Sorry. I know we stop a lot on this channel. I appreciate you being here. Just be patient with me because this is how you do it, man. You do a lot of stops and starts to go back and appreciate the layers. So then when you do those full plays, you're like, oh my God, the band is like, you just elevate your appreciation for the musicians. You get like these disco elements going on in the bass line. Little jazz, like a little bit of vocabulary from the bass that just really expresses that they can play a lot of other genres as well. There's a lot of notes going on. It mixes so well. But most importantly, those are the two extremes because the bass player and the drummer have similar roles. Obviously, they're both the main timekeepers of the group. Most people, when they answer that question, who keeps time in the group, they the drummer. It's really the bass player though, but it's the two of them together. But if your drummer's killer and your bass player sucks, the band's gonna fucking crash and burn. Like that's like. It won't work. Where if your bassist is amazing and your drummer sucks, you're going to be able to carry things a little bit cooler because in reality, your bass player is your tonal drummer. And if your tonal foundations are not in time, like not that we need to go, that's almost another tangent Tony thing. We don't need to go there, but I'm just giving a lot of praise to this person because those are our extremes, right? Vocals on top, the melody that's written to the progression and the chorus is stellar. It's outstanding. It's super fun to listen to. It's going to make you dance. But what's going on underneath is the reason that is so successful on top. You have to have both. Like you obviously couldn't have a shitty singer as well. Like the band could be playing and if whoever's on blast sucks, I'm like, you're going to go on to the next thing. So there are a lot of key elements and I'm not trying to say somebody's role is more important than the other one. I'm just trying to address why in this instance, it's so kick-ass, if that makes sense. Oh my God. We'll talk one more time. Jagon Pow, another ensemble hit. We haven't really had one of those since the beginning of the piece. So that's great to bring us back into that at 1 minute and 19 seconds. The other things, the other inner layers, remember we said like people aren't more important than the other layers? They're not. They're just in there as well, but they have different roles. The piano player, if you take it away, it would be kind of tragic. They're not doing too much though, right? Like they're just doing enough. Kind of like that comparison we just talked about to the other opening, right? How there's like so much stuff going on. This is the perfect amount of chord layerings going on within the piano player to make it work. The other person, the drummer, we kind of talked about the bassist and the drummer too, but you have to have this kind of amount of energy to be, the chorus is explosive in that nature. So all those things have to like layer together and they all have to make those choices to be like, how are we going to do this? Because when you think about it, when you go in, like those of you that play, you already know this, but if you don't play, you might not know this. And you're like, hey, this is a song we're doing. You're looking at your chart, you know, it's like a basic arrangement of like, hey, here's the hits. Like you'll just be looking at like chord changes of what's going on. Here's the verse. Here's, you know, like second half of the verse. Here's the chorus. Y'all have to talk to each other musically as you play through this and make it work. Like the bass player had to make that decision to play those lines, right? Unda, 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 unda. You could play all kinds of stuff. Like they could just play the roots. They could play too many notes. They could play not enough notes. The drummer could play a different feel here. Like the reason we're hyping out and kind of geeking up on this is because everyone made all these choices and that's the artistry of it. That's why it's so cool. And, you know, you get into like the science of it, like, well, how many takes did that take? Like, how long did you rehearse that before? Like, oh, try that line. Oh, try this one. Because it's not like the reason jazz is so cool. If you like, for those of you who go to jazz clubs, you already know, but jazz is music that happens live and on the spot. And the reason I love, like, I'm a jazz musician myself, but the reason if I have any live experience I'm going to pick, it's always gonna be jazz first because there is no rehearsal. It's just a gig, dude. Like everything happens real time. You just be like, hey, what are we playing? You're like, what? You just call tunes. And everyone that's worth their stuff, everyone knows tunes, but it's about what you can say. What's your vocabulary on the track going to be? And you get a different experience every single time. You go watch the same band play. You go watch them play 3 nights in a row. It's going to be different every single time. Unless you're playing a completely orchestrated chart, which then kind of defeats the purpose of jazz. Because part of jazz, one of the elements that is required to be it is improvisation. So, I mean, like, the melody, like the construction of the notes in the melody might be the same, but the way the player plays it is different every night. And the way the players in the band is going to be different every time. Sorry, we're kind of tangenting because this is not a jazz piece. But what I'm trying to give you is the appreciation of the session musicians when they sit down and they get creative and you get something cool like this. Sorry, I know we're talking too much. I apologize. We'll let it, you know what? We'll let it go this time. We'll go back, grab this chorus again, and we'll go into this next section that we don't know anything about. I just think it's important to talk about these things because that's what makes music and musicians and the folks that are involved in the art. That's why it's cool. Oh my God, man. What a cool flow right there, rhythmically within the vocal line. All right, let's keep going. Okay. This is sick. What the fuck? Whoa. I have so many chills right now. I was not expecting that at all. We have to go back and talk about it. That one section was so groovy. I did not know what's going on. Wait, are we going to modulate? Where are we going with this? I don't even know when it hit. Hold on. Let's go back to 120. I think we're safe right here. Yeah, we're safe. That hits, man. So we still keep it in there. I thought it went over the bar line a little more than it did, but we get this nice little syncopation there, and it's a cool accent pattern that really just kind of like switches things up because we haven't had anything like this. This bridge is hitting, and I thought that would be the extent of it. It's not though. But hold on, the guitar part. Hold on, this is right about here. One more time, please. Yeah, okay. So we have similar elements to the beginning. That's kind of a related part. Kind of like that bass line we had at the beginning, but we got some palm muting going on there. It's very cool. The vocals gets the effects on there, which makes it a lot more, I guess, attractive to the ear when we get that syncopated rhythm thing. So for me, that's the equation that really hits there. Let's keep going though, because it changes up so much. Familiar parts, but the big quarter note triplet section, and then more of like an open round sound in the tone of the voice, almost a little borderline. It feels like, oh, you have some classical training there. Like I was not expecting this to happen at all. The cool harmony in the bass line there. That's cool. I feel like this section is completely vocal focused. I mean, in reality, the whole song is, but you know me, I'm usually listening down. I can't not listen up to the vocals. So that's why I didn't even notice that bass harmony the first couple times. It's very cool. The displacement of the groove is the biggest thing for me because we just came out of that, all that cool stuff we just talked about. That suddenly the groove is, you hit something bigger than a speed bump because it's completely displaced. It's wide open. Vocal, rada, cool piano lines going on. Like it's a very, very different listening experience. Borderline halftime groove in the drums there. Cool ascending lick. Oh my God, the bass is... Oh my God. Oh, okay, so similarities within this, like the last 20 seconds-ish, is vocally stuff we've heard before. Fundamentally, in the rudiments was going on what we've heard before, but now there's way more embellishments going on. It's getting more jam-packed. Remember that comparison we made earlier? We've talked about it twice now. Not nearly as jam-packed as that, but context is everything. Within the context of the song, this is the busiest part that we've had. So what's going to happen? This is 227. It's going to go to 317. Will it like crescendo and build and go out crazy? I don't know. Let's go back. I know we stop a lot. It is what it is. Just listen down to how much is going on now with it. Find the similarities of the stuff we've already talked about tonally, fundamentally within the harmonic structure, but listen to all the stuff that's being put on top of it. Who is the bass player? Unreal. Let's keep going. Extension. Oh, yeah, man. Man, oh my God. And here's the ending that we know. Got the drummer and the end of that. I can comfortably tell you right now, this is one of my favorite openings that I've ever heard. Now, I do have a little bit of context bias from watching it on Patreon, obviously, but it's the melody, it's the verse, it's the chorus, and it's the augmentation of how the chorus evolves. That bridge section is like stupidly great. Like, my God. But it's the bass player. Come on, dude. Like, I swear to God, in these Japanese anime songs that we listen to, there is no shortage. Actually, it's frightening. It's like scary. It's frighteningly good. How many amazing bass players that are doing a higher demand of normally what the role used to be. Past tense, man. You got to be a better player now. You have to be a better player now to match the energy and up that level. This is so good. I'm pretty comfortable saying this is one of my favorite openings that I've ever heard. So there it is. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Sorry, we took a 3-minute song and made it 20 minutes. Whatever. Okay. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. My name is DrumRollTony. Catch me when I'm live on Twitch. Come watch some anime with me on the Patreon. Link for all my socials down in the video description below. Please and thank you. Click the like button. Subscribe to the channel so you can catch the next video. All right. You do think you want to watch one of these two videos next. Have a great day. Take it easy. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.